Greetings, Internet, YouTube, children of all ages. It's I, your humble host, Matthew Clark, coming to you live from Castle de Clark in Independence, Iowa. No snappy intros to this one. Today, we're talking about Survivor Series 2016, and we're going to go into spoilers. Spoiler alert. If you don't want to know what happened on the show, if you want to watch it yourself with fresh eyes, don't watch Raw, number one. Number two, stop watching this video. I'll give you a minute to stop. Have you stopped it yet? Hit pause at least. Hit stop. Go somewhere else. Okay, we're back. All right. Survivor Series 2016. On the Clark scale of 1 to 5, I will give it a 4. It was not a bad show. It was a bit uneven, I thought. It wasn't a blowaway show. There was one really good match in it. A couple of really good matches, I thought, actually. But overall, probably a 4 out of 5. I'm going to go 4 out of 5. I didn't watch any of the pre-show crap. It was a roughly 4-hour show, 3.5-hour show. There's a nub. 3.5-hour show. So there's a lot of stuff on it. So I didn't watch the pre-show or any of that crap. The show was enough to watch on its own. So I got the match list up over here. So if I turn that way, I'm reading my match list so I can remember what the whole hell happened during the show and give you an idea what I thought about it. We'll start at the beginning. The show started out with the women's elimination match. Charlotte, Nia, Bayley, Sasha Banks, Alicia Fox against SmackDown's Becky Lynch. First spoiler. By the way, if you don't want to hear any more spoilers, you got my vote, 4 out of 5. If you don't want spoilers, time to stop now, because most of this show has to be talked about in terms of spoilers, because there was a lot of spoilers to talk about. So, once again, you can stop now. Stop. I'm moving on. Okay, we're back. Women's elimination match. For some reason, before the match started, somebody kicked the shit out of Nikki Bella. But she was conscious in the back. Stupid angle. First of all, I don't understand why. I understand why Nikki was the captain of the SmackDown team, even though Becky Lynch is the champion. Nikki right now is getting a huge push because of that stupid show they do on the E! channel with her sister and Daniel Bryan. So I understand why she was the captain. It doesn't make any sense why she was the captain, but I understand why she was the captain. But for some reason they had her get knocked out before the match started in the back. And Natalya stepped up to take her place to make it a 5-on-5 match. My guess is Tuesday on SmackDown, we'll find out who jumped her. There'll be a big story angle. Who gives a fuck? It's Nikki Bella. Who cares? I don't care about Nikki Bella. The match itself was pretty good. Kind of went the way I figured it would take. I was surprised that Nia Jax got... by the way, I'm sweet on Nia Jax. I think she's kind of cute. She's a big gal, but I like them big. I like me and Nia Jax. And by the way, this current crop of women wrestlers not only are the best wrestlers that WWE has had in the past, this is probably the best looking batch of wrestlers they've had on the roster, in my opinion. That's just me. Minus Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair looks too much like her dad. I feel bad for her. Everybody else is hot, though. Anyway, it was a good match. Pretty much went by the numbers. Nia Jax got tapped by Becky Lynch. That kind of shocked me. Raw won, which again kind of surprised me because I didn't need to. I think Charlotte Flair, Bayley, Sasha Banks clearly are the cream of the crop currently of the women's division. The women's division on SmackDown is still kind of being fermented. It's not quite gelled yet. It's still in its infancy. I don't think they originally thought of having one on SmackDown. They should have left the cruiserweights on Raw and put the women on SmackDown, or vice versa, in my opinion. Keep all the women. The roster is so thin of women wrestlers right now. They should have kept the roster together, because right now NXT is kind of thin, I think, in women wrestlers. That's just me. I wasn't a fan of the brand split anyway, so that's beside the point. Raw won. Decent match. Wouldn't go out of your way to see it, but it was a good match. After that match was over, they had the Intercontinental match between The Miz and Sami Zayn, I think was the next match. First of all, the title change to Miz made no sense to me. Zayn and Dolph Ziggler would have been off the charts. The Miz and Zayn wasn't bad. It was a pretty good match. I figured they took the title off Ziggler so that Sammy could pin The Miz and take the title back to Raw. And then later on in the show, have Brian Kendrick lose to Kalisto to bring the cruiserweights to SmackDown. Because if you don't know, they're bringing a live cruiserweight show on Tuesdays after SmackDown's over with. So I thought for sure that's what they were going to do. Miz won. Kind of a neat way he did it too. I won't ruin that for you. But Miz won. It was a good match for what it was. They didn't really have them go all out, I don't think. I think both guys could have done a lot more. I'm going through my notes. I think both guys could have done a lot more, in my opinion, than what they did. It was a good match, though. Sammy did most of his stuff, I thought. And Miz held his own. I think Miz has gotten a lot better over the last probably 2 or 3 months. His move to SmackDown was a good move. If anybody could benefit, it was The Miz. Ziggler has been uneven with his move to SmackDown. They could push Ziggler quite a bit more than they do. I don't know why they don't. Maybe Vince doesn't trust Ziggler to hang around. I don't know. But it was a good match. Could have benefited from Dolph, though. I think Dolph and Zayn would have been a better match, in my opinion. Let me see, what else do I have here? After that one, they had the tag team. I don't think there's been I think there's only been about 3 or 4 of these in the history of Survivor Series. I know they had one at the very first Survivor Series and the second. And I think down the line somewhere they had another one. Vince has never been that big on tag teams to begin with. Vince is not a big tag team guy. He likes to push individual wrestlers. I don't know why. The old NWA was probably the only real tag team friendly company. Even WCW wasn't really tag team friendly. Really. This was a 5-team, 10-man aside elimination match. And it was a clusterfuck because that's 20 guys trying to get ring time, which is damn near impossible in my opinion, no matter how long the match. The original tag team elimination match from the very first Survivor Series was like a 40-minute match. So they had plenty of time to get everybody involved. The problem is, like happened in this one, is partners just start tagging in partners. In this one, the Hype Brothers, I guess, tagged themselves in quite a bit. Epico and Primo looked really good, by the way, in this match. Epico and Primo are really underused. They're the shining stars from Puerto Rico. Really underused guys. They looked really good in the match. It was a fun match to watch. Another match, it was rushed. Didn't like the ending. Not big. I think Cesaro and Sheamus are a good team, but I don't like the storyline they're in now. Raw won it, by the way. Sheamus and Cesaro won the match. But I wasn't a big fan. I'm not a. I still wish those guys would become a clear-cut team rather than this feuding team that they're becoming. I'm not a big fan of that storyline. Good match though. Bit of a clusterfuck. New Day was like one of the first teams eliminated, which shocked the shit out of me. But I think they're trying to get the New Day. They're so entrenched, and it's their fault they're entrenched because that's all Vince pushed was New Day. That they're trying to get other teams involved, and getting the New Day out of the way fast kind of helped that, I think. Then came the Cruiserweight match, Kendrick and Kalisto. I thought it was a great match. Kalisto had a brief Intercontinental title run with Ryback not too long, but right before WrestleMania, I think. Kalisto's a great... I saw Kalisto back when he was... Gosh, what the hell was his name? I don't remember his name off the top of my head. Back when he was on the Independents, he was a great talent. Fun to watch. True cruiserweight, though. I didn't know how he would interact with the WWE. They need to get him in the cruiserweight division because the matches he could have with any one of those guys are going to be fantastic. What they need to do is keep a cruiserweight champion, but disperse the cruiserweights and make 205 the cruiserweight show. Don't have them Raw, don't have them SmackDown. Just disperse them across the roster because some of those guys could have good matches with guys, in the 220s, 230s. Like Seth Rollins and Brian Kendrick could have a great match. Brian Kendrick is not just a cruiserweight. Granted, he couldn't wrestle Roman Reigns or Braun Strowman, but you could put him in there against Ziggler, against Miz, against Ambrose, and they would hold their own just fine, believably. But let them have 205 to themselves. I'm fine with that. Kendrick won, which shocked the shit out of me. It didn't shock me so much because The Miz won. When The Miz won the Intercontinental title, I said to myself, the Cruiserweights aren't going anywhere. Which is going to be interesting to see how they do the live show on Tuesdays. Cruiserweight's going to get a lot of work. A lot of work for those guys. Great match, though. One of the best matches on the show. My problem with the pay-per-view on whole, the crowd to me was kind of dead. The Cruiserweight match was a great match, but the crowd really wasn't into it all that much, I thought. The crowd itself, not miking a crowd well enough can ruin a pay-per-view because you don't hear the live reaction from the crowd very much. I don't think they did a very good job miking the crowd for this pay-per-view, in my opinion, unless the crowd was just dead, period, and they mic'd them well. There's nothing to mic. Was a good show. The crowd, though, could have been a little bit more into it. I think the NXT show kind of killed the crowd a little bit, actually. Okay, then came the men's elimination match. 5-on-5, Raw, SmackDown. When this match started, there was 2 hours to go in the show. It started at 8 o'clock, if I remember correctly. And that shocked the hell out of me. I'm like, holy fuck, these guys are going to go. 8 o'clock start time. The show doesn't end until 10. Brock and Goldberg aren't going for an hour. That's for damn sure. Great match. It was one of the best Survivor Series matches I've seen. It looked like a bomb went off at one point in the match. There were just bodies everywhere, tables destroyed. Guys worked really hard. Braun Strowman looked incredible. I've always said there's 3 guys in pro wrestling I would never fake fight ever. The Big Show, never would. Braun Strowman, that guy's a monstrosity. And Brock, I would never fake fight. I don't give a fake, not fake. I would never fake fight. No, ever. Never, 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 never. Because Braun Strowman is a monstrosity. He did a move during the match. AJ Styles tried to jump on him from off the top rope, and he basically caught him by the throat and nearly launched him into the third row. He was trying to throw him over the top rope backwards out of the ring. They were about maybe 3 or 4 feet from the ropes, and Braun had him by the throat, and AJ's back was to the ropes, and Braun literally threw him clear of the top rope. AJ had to reach down and grab the top rope with his, would have been his right or left hand, so that he pirouetted and landed on the apron, or else he would have completely launched him out of the ring over the top rope backwards. I mean, it was the scariest looking thing I've ever. I thought he was going to kill him because he literally just launched him. AJ barely grabbed the top rope and managed to bring himself back down to earth. That looked scary. Braun's a monster. He actually caught Dean Ambrose doing a crossbody to the floor from over the top rope. Dean Ambrose is a solid, probably 220, and he caught him. No. If I'm 220 and over 6 foot tall and somebody can catch me out of the air, I'm not fake fighting him. That man's huge. Did a great job of making Braun the monster in the match. The MVP of the match has to go to, on the Raw side, Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho dominated the first probably half hour of the match. Went for like an hour. It was a long match. And Chris Jericho really was the general of the ring for the first good 2/3 of the match. And the other guy is Shane McMahon. I know Shane only wrestles like once a year. And his matches really aren't matches. And the only reason he's there is because his dad owns the company. But Shane earned some respect for me. Shane's earned respect twice from me. One, when he wrestled Kurt Angle at a King of the Ring like 10 years ago, where Kurt belly-to-belly suplexed him through 2 panes of glass. That was a great match. The second time was this one, because he took an absolute beating. I know it was fake. Don't get me wrong. Wrestling's totally fake. But he was in that ring for a long time and took a hell of a beating. Did a flying elbow off the top to the floor onto a table through Braun Strowman. His signature top rope dive, which I didn't think he'd make, by the way. It was a long jump. And he got his ass handed to him in this match. The way he got eliminated, if he didn't have a concussion, I'm stunned. He went for his coast-to-coast Rob Van Dam ripoff move, the Van Terminator, from corner to corner on Roman Reigns, and Roman speared him out of the air. And the landing looked really bad. Ooh, it looked bad. If he doesn't have a concussion, I am shocked. They had to drag him out. He was so screwed up, he couldn't... I don't think he was supposed to kick out, but he did, because he was so messed up. They ended up dragging him out of the ring because he was screwed up. Concussion easy. That was a nasty landing to that move. Did not go well for Shane. But he is the MVP. He probably was in the match longer than anybody on the Raw side. I got to give Shane a hell of a lot of credit. Just for the cardiovascular work. Because he did a lot of work last night. It was a good match. Roman Reigns. We need to talk. Roman, if you're watching this, which I know you're not, come here and take a knee. Take a knee. Everybody come on in. Take a knee. Everybody take a knee. I feel bad for Roman. I don't dislike the guy. He's not Ric Flair. He's not Ricky Steamboat. He's not a technician. He's not Bret Hart. Although some ways he is. He's an ex-football player who's Samoan and is an insane athlete. You got to realize he's like 6'3", 6'4", 250, 260, solid. And he moves about as well as Randy Orton. He reminds me a lot of Randy Orton, actually. Very strong, incredible athlete. He's limited, don't get me wrong. But he tries really hard to be as good as he hasn't rested on his laurels, I don't think. His moveset has increased since he was part of the Shield. But Vince, take a knee. Get in here and take a knee. This is for you, Vince. It ain't working. That crowd shit all over him. There was a point in that match where he was like 3 to 4 on 1. Where he was the classic, I'm taking on the world babyface. And they shit all over him. Granted, it's Canada, but they shit all, and I don't think it would have happened anywhere he was at. It wasn't just Canada. Wherever he was, he would have been shit on, in my opinion. It just ain't working. He hasn't connected with fans. Fans haven't connected with him. I think it wouldn't be a bad idea to turn him at some point. I'm not even sure if that would work to resuscitate his career. It's too bad because I think there's definite potential for Roman, but it just ain't working right now. It ain't working a lick, and I feel bad for the guy because it's not like he's not working. He's trying to be the best he can be. It's just that the fans aren't connecting with him. Great match. SmackDown won to make up for losing the other two, I think. AJ looked good. I think Kevin Owens looked good. Chris Jericho looked fantastic. I think the match went longer than it was intended to go because of the time was kind of screwed up. You could tell the match kind of had like 3 sections to it. I think to make up for time because there was so much time they had to fill. Good match though. Really good use of the concept of Survivor Series. That's what a Survivor Series match to me is supposed to be. You got 5 guys who get to rest a lot because of the 10 men in the match. So there shouldn't be any lulls. You should be destroying furniture, car wrecks, and it was. It was a car wreck type of a match, and it was done very well. SmackDown wins, by the way. And it looks like the Wyatt family is back to Luke Harper, Orton, and Bray are back as the Wyatt family. And God bless Luke Harper. I knew Luke Harper back when he was Brody Lee in the Independents. I always thought he should be on the big stage because the man is an insane athlete. What Brody Lee can do. He's crazy. Finally, this one we got to talk about, boys and girls. We got to take a knee. Come in here and take a knee. Everybody come on in. Take a knee. Brock and Goldberg. I got some extra super duper spoilers for this one because I'm a member of PWInsiderElite.com. Go there. Join. If you're a wrestling fan who is more curious about the back end of wrestling, the machinations behind the scenes, they don't pay me a penny. I've been a part of their website for about 3 to 4 years now. Great website. I'm going to steal some of their information, though. Sorry, guys. But you can read this on their non-elite site. Goldberg, Brock, and Paul Heyman. First of all, Goldberg is no longer Goldberg. Goldberg looks like Hulk Hogan when Hulk Hogan came back from his steroid thing. Do you remember what Hulk Hogan looked like when he first came back? He's probably about 30 to 50 pounds lighter than he was when he was Goldberg. He's in great shape. Do not get me wrong. He makes me look like the fat glob of goo that I am. But I don't think he's as big as he once was. He's 50 years old, though. He can't be. Humanity just doesn't allow that to happen. If he wants to stay, out of a wheelchair, he has to lose size. That's the way it is. Brock is just Brock. He's always Brock. The match literally lasted 2 minutes. And I'm not joking. And I'm not trying to... It was at the most 2 minutes. Brock came out, gave Goldberg this, I'm not afraid of you kind of a thing. Goldberg speared him twice, jackhammered him, and pinned him. That was the match. Brock had a shove in a corner as his offense. That was it. If you watch Raw tonight, you'll see it all, if you haven't seen the show yet. If I bought a ticket with the express purpose to see Brock Lesnar wrestle Bill Goldberg on that night, I want my money back. That's why this is not a 5-star show. If that would have been a halfway decent performance, if they would have matched their WrestleMania match from back in the day, about 12 years ago. I'd have given this show 5 stars. I actually would have. It's actually a very good show. But that match just left a very sour taste in my mouth. It was not what was advertised. I don't know why. Here's my spoiler from PW Insider, by the way, and I apologize, guys, but I'm going to do it. Brock's not at Raw tonight. Neither is Goldberg, my understanding. So you're not going to see Brock come out and kill half the roster. Paul might be there. I don't know about Paul Heyman, but I know Brock left Toronto this morning, according to this one website. If Brock shows up, it's not my fault. I read it from a website. But I trust these guys. If they say Brock left, Brock left. And there was no intention of having Brock on Raw after Survivor Series. Brock's going to disappear now until they bring him back for his next big match, whatever that's going to be. If you don't know it, Brock's on a part-time schedule. He comes and goes as he pleases. So this is going to be a long video, by the way. Yeah, if I paid money for that match, which I didn't, I had no intention of that match being any good. But if I did, I'd be pissed because that match, like I said, 22 minutes tops. Goldberg spent more time with his family after the match in the ring than he did in the ring with Brock. So there might be a WrestleMania rematch, who knows? But by then, I think Goldberg will be early 50s. I think he's 50 right now, but he'll be like 51, 52 around WrestleMania time. So, I don't know. If you want to watch this show for Brock and Goldberg, you wasted your money. And that's why I give it 4 stars, because bad Vince. Bad Vince. Well, there you go. That's the show. 4 Clarks out of 5 for this one. The ending left a bad taste in my mouth. Because it just ended the show, too, by the way. The show ended about a half an hour early. They had Goldberg in the ring with his son, and that was about it. That was the show. Even the crowd in the building was like, what the fuck was that? They showed the crowd, and I actually saw one guy mouth the words, what the fuck? Because that was fucked. And pardon my French, but that was fucked. I know a lot of people were really psyched for that match. I don't know why they were, but they were. And it just did not come off. I think people wanted to see what Brock could do to Goldberg and vice versa. Could Goldberg still throw Brock around like he did at WrestleMania? Because we know Brock can throw Goldberg around. The question I always had was, could Goldberg take the suplexing that Brock would do to him? We still don't know. We probably never will know. I would not be shocked if this was Goldberg's last hurrah, if we never saw Goldberg ever again. Which, that's pretty shitty, in my opinion. What can I say? Well, there you go. My review of Survivor Series. Almost a half an hour long. Holy Schmidthouse. If you have any thoughts, questions, want to talk about the show, leave your comments below. If you're new, go to my channel. Look around. There's music, videos. I have a series called Unemployed with yours truly. This is Matt Clark, your host, signing off for Max the Wonder Dog, who's over there scratching himself. You stay sexy, San Diego. Until next time, take care.